You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers, about hikers, for everybody.
Mighty Blue on the Appalachian Trail, the ultimate midlife crisis. Join Steve and his guests every week as he staggers from Georgia to Maine.
Hey guys, thanks for coming back to the podcast. You're listening to Mighty Blue on the Appalachian Trail, and I am Mighty Blue, and I am on the Appalachian Trail. We're at the stage in the hike where pretty much everything feels damp all the time. I'm not complaining, it's just a fact. Putting on wet socks in the morning is one of those defining moments of the day where you hope that they are sufficiently unwet that you have a reasonable hope of them drying out over the first couple of hours. However, it's often a hopeless task, and you're sloshing around the whole day only to take them off in the evening and wring them out. Those are tough days, let me tell you. And everything else in the tent smells wet and generally mouldy and just generally damp. We're running into a few SOBOs at the moment, and I'm featuring 4 of them today. These guys had such a positive impact upon me that I chose to feature them just then this week. And now, as we're near the start of the long trail, there are plenty more people on the trail with Nobo through hikers as well as the long trailers. It really is fun to be around people again. But before we hear how the last 3 days have gone, let's hear from our sponsor, Polar Steps.
If you're heading out on a long hike this year, which I am, I've got something I think you're going to love. It's called Polar Steps. It's a travel tracking app that's going to become a favourite with hikers. You set your start date, let it run quietly in the background, and it maps your entire journey automatically, all on your own beautiful spinning 3D globe. And don't worry, the tracking feature uses about 4% of your battery on a single charge, so it's not going to kill your phone when you're out there. You can add photos and short journal entries as you go, so your map shows you where you were and your words remind you of what that day actually felt like. There's a light social layer too. Family and friends can follow along, or you can keep it completely private. As every hiker says, hike your own hike. And when you're done, you can relive the whole thing in the app or turn it into a stunning coffee table book with your route, stats, photos and stories. And did I tell you that it's entirely free to download and use? The only time you'll be paying anything is if you decide to turn your trip into a book. That's Polar Steps. Track it now, treasure it forever.
Day 112 last Sunday. County Road, mile 1607.2, in Vermont, by the way. SOBO to Barber Road, North Adams, mile 1600 exactly. A 7.2 Nero slack pack for a total mileage for the week of 83.3 for a 3.3 mile credit, giving me a total credit of 59.2 miles. And those of you know, I'm trying to do 80 miles a week. A little bit of a credit, not much, but still moving forward. I slept in Renee's garden in my tent, and she told us she'd be up for breakfast at 6 a.m. But at about 20 to 6, because I'm an old man, I went in there to use the restroom, and she was already getting ready for breakfast. Once again, she laid out quite the spread, with the scrambled eggs, fruit, cream, Danish, coffee, all of which I ingested with relish. Dave, a local shuttle driver, turned up at 7 a.m. on the dot to take me up the mountain so that I could take my light pack and walk down the mountain for a short day so that I could finish my podcast. And it worked out a dream with there was a treacherous 100 yards or so near the top where there were some dodgy rocks that needed my attention. But once that was over, it was plain sailing with a relatively gentle downhill past a rushing river. There really has been so much water this past few days, and the shortness of water will definitely not be an issue for a little while. I ran into several people on the way up. I'm thoroughly enjoying my slack packing status, though I must admit, I don't know why I feel the need to do this, but I always point out that I'm slack packing. And I don't feel guilty about it at all. And I regret every time I say I'm slack packing, because as if I'm explaining myself. Maybe I'm feeling a little bit of guilt, but I don't know. I've got the chance to slack pack, take everything I needed on that day, but I still seem to be justifying it, and I'm annoyed at myself for it. So I've got to stop apologising for slack packing. When I got back to Renee's home where I left off the previous day, I packed up my tent and my pack, and as Renee was taking 2 other guys to the county road for the same slack packing that I'd done, she dropped me at the nearby laundrette and told me that she's going to be about half hour to get up the top and then half hour back. So she'd be back within the hour, and she would pick me up at the laundrette and take me to my motel. What a woman, eh? That worked out perfectly, as I just packed my dry stuff away when she showed up again. Dropping me at the Willows Motel, I then did my podcast. And I am planning my hike more and more around the podcast because I've been consistent with it so far. I really want to get it done. And I know people look forward to it on a Thursday and a Monday. And I hate being late with it, but I think it's going to become more difficult as time goes on. But there's no question that I'm definitely planning my hike around the podcast in many ways. I'm still glad I'm doing it, absolutely, and I know people from what they say when they write to me, they're enjoying listening to it as well. The Willows Motel, by the way, is very nice. It's in Williamstown, which is on the right next to North Adams. It's got a really nice breakfast, comfortable rooms. The guy is so eager to please at the hostel, or the motel rather. So, but give it a try. I highly recommend it. I really enjoyed it. And all of us, or the 3 of us, the other 2 guys who slept packs, we were so grateful for Renee's generosity. And I suggested that the 3 of us, that those other 2 had done the same slack pack as I did, plus myself, should buy her dinner later. She accepted, and I suggested that we should meet up about 6 o'clock at my motel, as this would enable me to get the podcast completed. Of course, a day that I gave myself a deadline, I screwed up the podcast when I let my battery run down and run out as I was completing the final run through, thus wasting at least 45 minutes, nearer to an hour. I was so annoyed with it, I tell you. I knew I could complete it later, so I wasn't concerned, and I texted Renee that they could pick me up sooner if they were ready, so I was ready to go out. I was so annoyed with myself for messing it up. We had a really nice dinner. There was Renee, a guy named Andy who had been out on a week's hike, and an older guy whose name I just can't recall now, so I apologise. Back at the motel, I redid the podcast, and another one was in the books. By the way, the following evening, I ran into 4 SOBO hikers and I recorded them all. And I'm telling you that now because I'm going to play a separate conversation, and in this case, the first case, a father and a daughter, after each day for these past 3 days. So you're going to hear a recording that happened the day after the one I've just been talking about. Does that make sense? I hope so. So it's SOBO time. We met 4 SOBOs in the Conklin shelter. And there's a father and daughter. Can you introduce yourselves?
My name is Slip.
And I'm Fruitbag.
So I've been wanting to ask this since I got it. Why are you Fruitbag?
I like fruit, of course. And one day I was just sitting around, didn't eat all my fruit from a town day, and I started slowly packing it out cautiously and carefully, and I started getting teased for taking fruit out there, and so I've just become Fruitbag since.
Fruitbag, why you slip?
I slip a lot.
Do you? Have you hurt yourself yet?
Not yet. I've been lucky.
Right. So father and daughter, you're the first, I think, father and daughter I've interviewed on the whole trip. So whose idea was this in the first place?
It was my idea.
All right. And how long you wanted to do this?
2 years only.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay. When it comes to your attention?
When I finished college, we went on a family vacation to Maine. And I just Googled what the coolest hikes were to do in Maine. And
wow.
It told me to go to Mount Katahdin and do the Knife's Edge. So we did that, and when we got up there, we saw that that's where the Appalachian Trail was. Right. And I didn't even know what the Appalachian Trail was, but I started to look into it, and I was like, that's cool. I want to do it.
I'm shocked at how many Americans have no idea what the Appalachian Trail is. So when she talked to you about it, what was your first reaction?
Originally, she was just going to do this by herself.
Yeah.
And then one day we were out for a bike ride, and she invited me to see her for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or however much I could. And I said, well, I'd do as much as you wanted me to be there. And she said, you can come to the whole thing if you want. And I said, absolutely, I'd do it.
Well, I've asked this question of husbands and wives and partners who do this. Well, this is obviously a bit different. If one of you decided you didn't like it, would the other one carry on? Or have you had that conversation yet?
If he quits, I'm going to keep going.
Right.
And if she And if she quits, I'm going home to my wife.
Right. Okay.
That's the hardest part for me, is being away from her mom, my wife.
And you're meeting her tomorrow, aren't you?
2 days.
2 days.
2 days time. So what's it been like? I mean, you've started at the rough end of this. This is the tough end, no question. So how have you found it so far?
I've loved every second of it. It's been hard, but it's been a ton of fun. Beautiful.
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm a gym rat.
Right.
And I found this
She told me, I don't know how you got enough hours in your day to do the stuff you do, from what she was saying just now, earlier on.
Yeah, I'm a gym rat, and I find this to be an amazing challenge. It's not easy.
Yeah. And are there days you wanted to quit and go home?
I haven't had a day I wanted to quit and go home. I've had days where I thought, I'm not sure I have it in me to finish.
Right. And what's the best part of the trail so far for you guys?
I have loved southern Maine. It was definitely the hardest for me, but I loved all the views, all the sights. It was great.
I think there's just like every day there's just an appreciation of being outdoors.
Sure.
And so there are some type of beautiful view, or, today with that great big rain that we all got caught in.
Yeah.
I just started laughing. I thought it was fabulous.
Really?
I don't know why. I think it's because in the morning I stepped in a big puddle and I was mad at myself for about 4 hours.
Yeah, that's what.
And then here we are in the afternoon. It's rained so hard, and I just thought, nobody's going to ever understand, nor can I explain what we were going through with that huge torrential rain while we were walking through puddles. And I don't know, I was just giggling and smiling and working my way to camp.
That's always been my advice to people. Tell everybody your stories. You've got about a 2-week window. And then they're going to want to stop talking about the Appalachian Trail because they have no idea what you're talking about. So you've been travelling, obviously, with your daughter, and you've been travelling with your dad. So have you seen changes in each other? Has he reacted differently to how you thought he'd react to things?
Not necessarily reacted differently. He's a pretty calm and collected person, but I've seen him be a lot more tired and worn out than I ever. It's kind of crazy because he usually just never stops, always wants to do the next thing, and he's actually tired at the end of the day for once.
That's a good thing. You admit that?
I admit that, yes.
How old are you, by the way?
I'll be 55 in October out here.
And you're still a pretty fit guy, yeah.
Yeah.
What about changes in her? Or what have you learned about her?
I just see her getting stronger and stronger every day out here, which is just amazing. I think she's becoming more independent out here. She's just meeting new people and being very outgoing. And it's nice to see her. We were really lucky to kind of run into people that are more her age than mine.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather her be around people her age than people my age entirely.
So are you allowing yourself to be paced by her then? So whatever she does, you do that pace.
It's a group effort. We kind of discuss it and make sure that we're both comfortable with it. So it's sort of whatever we feel that we can handle.
We're pretty much on the same page with it every day.
Good. So because the father and daughter relationship is still there. So you're still her dad. So you still got to watch out for her, obviously, more and more. Mm-hmm. So do you find that slightly different because you're now hiking partners?
It would be different if she was younger, but she's already graduated with her master's degree, so she's pretty independent.
Right.
But I am going to be there till the end for her, so I'll happily help her set up her tent once in a while, or get her water for her once in a while. But at the same time, there's nights where I get to camp and I'm tired, and she just grabs my water and fills it up too. So it's really a nice way that we can kind of work together and make our lives a little easier on her sometimes.
And tell everyone what you said he was earlier on. What you said he was earlier on. He was your...
Oh, he's my idol. He's the best.
He wouldn't take that, but he knows he is. But look, I appreciate you talking to us, and I hope the rest of your hike goes well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers. Day 113, which was Monday. Back to County Road, mile 1607.2, to Congdon Shelter, mile 614.2, a measly 7-mile day. Yep, a 7-mile day. Not exactly the number I was going for in the first place, though it turned out to be one of the most different and entertaining days of the hike for a number of reasons. I had breakfast at the hotel, and I've got to tell you, it was impressive. This guy, and he was so proud of it, put on loads and loads of fresh fruit. There were waffles, I think there was bagels, there was peanut butter, there was cream cheese. There were no eggs, unfortunately, but tons of fresh fruit, tons of yogurt, and I think there was coffee and all the normal stuff. It was actually held in the reception area of the hotel, and the guy, as I say, was so proud of it, and I admired him for that. And I met a young man there called Chicklet, who'd hiked the trail. Oh, when had he hiked it? Was it last year or was it? I think it's 2017. I think it was. And he was going to do the long trail. No, it couldn't have been. No, he hiked it when he was 19, a couple of years before. So it probably was 2017, actually, yeah. And he was a really nice lad. He was there with his mother, and he was going to be hiking the long trail. And I said to him, if he wanted to, he could join me in my lift with Dave back up to County Road and then walk back to the long trail. I must admit, I only thought it was about a mile back to the long trail, but it was actually 3 miles back. So that didn't work out so well for him. But anyway, he was happy to join us, and he came along with us when Dave left. And unfortunately, Dave couldn't get there until about 9:30, I think it was. So we were really quite late getting out anyway. The rain was a little bit spotty, but the forecast was for a large band of strong rain coming through around midday. I decided to manage my hike, which I've mentioned before. And as you probably recall, I've been pretty happy with how I've managed the hike to this point. Well, in the interest of full disclosure, I totally screwed up my management of this day. I could have got it more wrong if I'd just been working on it to try to get it as wrong as possible. But oh, what a nightmare. I'd checked out the radar on my phone and could see that this particularly nasty looking band of rain was coming through around midday. And on this morning, after a bit of a climb to start the day, I would come to a shelter in about 2 miles. As I say, Dave had been unable to pick me up early enough, so I didn't actually get started until about 10:20 a.m. So I thought I'd be smart and simply sit out the rain. I knew I'd have a shorter day, perhaps not quite as short as it turned out to be, but I thought it was a good call, given that the rain was due to blow through by about 1:30 in the afternoon and was going to be extremely strong. So I felt pretty good about my plan. It started out well with the climb easily dispatched with my early morning zeal, and I reached the Seth Warner shelter by about 11:30 a.m. Excellent start. So I'm looking up at the sky thinking, doesn't look like it's going to rain yet. Anyway, I know this band of rain is coming through. There was nobody there, and I felt a bit smug at having outwitted the coming weather, setting up my chair in the shelter and settling down to watch the downpour outside as I stayed nice and snug inside the shelter, watching a couple of TV shows to while away the time. 12 o'clock came and went. No rain. And the sun came out. It was almost on the stroke of 12, just to make fun of me, the sun came out. So I'm thinking, oh, must be coming later. But I knew the rain couldn't be far behind it, so I waited. 12:30, no rain, and the sun shone brighter. At 1:30, getting really pissed off now, after another enthralling episode on TV and no bloody rain, I checked the radar, and the strong band of rain that had been forecast had clearly passed us by. Cursing myself liberally, and I do mean that, I set out, somewhat chastened by this waste of 2 hours. As if to tweak me a little further, the weather chose at this point, when I was 100 yards into my renewed hike, to absolutely unload buckets of water on me and my fellow travellers. I couldn't believe it. I was soon cursing loudly. The path became a stream, and the flatter parts continued to disintegrate in the mud. Naturally enough, the rocks and roots became slicker than ever. Nevertheless, I did not fall on this day, and became very deliberate in my steps. For this reason, by the time I reached Congdon Shelter, only 7 miles after the start, I was done for the day. It was at this shelter that I met the 4 SOBO hikers, 2 of whom you met yesterday, and after this one you're going to meet another one called Plus One. These 4 were an absolute breath of fresh air. They were so happy in each other's company. I couldn't really put my finger on the reason at first. Obviously they'd finished the 2 hardest states, but they laughed constantly and easily welcomed, and they just welcomed me into their group. The Congdon shelter had 4 bunks and a table, and I considered taking the table at first because the the four of them had taken up the bunks when really they could have had two on each bunk, but I didn't say anything about it. I say I was thinking about the table, but I thought if I fall off the table in the middle of the night, it's going to be a nightmare. But the rain had stopped by now, and I set up my tent in a pretty good spot out front of the shelter. Once I set up, I went back to the shelter to eat and joined this happy band once more. After we'd all eaten at the table, Plus One pulled out a dice game and we played Cosmic Wimpout. Never heard of it, probably never see it again. I won't even try to explain the game, but it was such a great evening, and it was the perfect shelter in which to play a game. I think one of the girls produced a lantern, which was above the table and was perfectly lit. It was just a perfect evening to sit around with like-minded people playing a dice game. But it wasn't until the following morning that I realised the difference between the NOBOs and the SOBOs. I shared it, what I thought, with the four of them. I said that the NOBOs were pretty much beaten down, having done 1,600 miles to their 600 miles. And that 1,000 mile difference really does make a difference. So despite my theory of the case, I was so pleased to have met this group. They gave me a much needed boost that stayed with me the following day.
So our next SOBO is?
I'm +1.
+1. And who is your +1?
And my +1 is Maisie, and she's a 3-year-old cattle dog mix.
So what's it like taking, I haven't seen that many this year, by the way, people having dogs on trail, and I'm not a massive fan of dogs on trail myself. Has she always hiked with you?
She has.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How many miles or two have you done together?
The biggest day we've done is 30 miles.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. And how was she at the end of that day?
Fine.
Right. So,
she has no trouble.
right.
I have more trouble than she does.
All right. That's cool. So where are you from?
I'm from Buffalo, New York originally, but I've kind of been living all over New York for the past 10-ish years.
And how did you learn about the AT? And why did you want to do it?
I learned about it as a kid. My sister read a book about it. It was The Barefoot Sisters.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And she said, go read this book. So I read it and I loved it. And she said, we should do this when we're older. And I said, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
And now I'm out here and she's not.
But did she consider coming?
She did not. She has some health issues.
Oh, right.
So I think that she would be out here if she could.
Is she living it vicariously through you?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But she has her own life and house and,
So what do you do? You keeping a journal? Because I find, I don't know about you, and I have to do a journal every day because the days kind of run into each other a little bit. How are you finding that, separating those days out?
Yeah, I do keep a journal, and I have been horrible at keeping a journal traditionally, right. But on trail I've been really good about it. I'll get behind a day here and there, but on those days I find that I definitely can't piece out exactly, my journal entries aren't as clear. Sure. But yeah, I've been happy that I've been journaling out here. And
I didn't ask Slip and Fruitbag, I've got their name right, I think. Fruitbag, yeah. I didn't ask them their reason for going north to south. What's your reason for going north to south?
My reason is just timing. I was on a 1-year contract, and my contract ended June 8th, and I hit the trail June 15th.
Oh, wow. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. You're not regretting that going north to south, are you?
No. I think that
it's all downhill for me, don't you? It's dead easy after this. Yes.
Yeah. I think that in a perfect world, I probably would have gone northbound just because there's more people, so more of a chance of a community. But I'm really happy that I'm out here.
And you've got your own community. I've seen more and more SOBOs in the last couple of days.
Yeah, so I was really lucky to meet great SOBOs. And then meet up with this crew a couple days ago. There's definitely been more days on trail that I'm alone compared to if you would be going northbound, I feel like. Yeah. But that's been fun in its own way.
You're fine.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a dog with me, so I'm never truly alone.
Exactly. I think that probably is true, actually. I think there's definitely a company thing there as well. And what are you looking forward to in the south? I've never really spent a lot of time in the south in general, so I'm kind of here for all of it. I think that the fall foliage will be gorgeous.
I'm
Yes,
looking forward
yeah.
to the Shenandoahs
Yeah.
and the Smokies, and it'll be beautiful, I think.
And the weather today, I mean, we're in this godforsaken shelter, which I was going to be sleeping on the picnic table, so I'm glad I'm not now. I've now got my tent. How have you found when it does rain for 2 or 3 days? I mean, how do you cope with that?
It's kind of miserable, but but I feel like once you get moving, then it's all good. I'm pretty unhappy putting on wet stuff in the morning.
Yeah.
And it was pretty rainy throughout the 100 for me and throughout some of the whites. But I feel like I've done a pretty good job of, once you get the stuff on and you start moving and you warm up, then it's all good. And as long as I keep moving, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Get to the shelter, put on some warm clothes.
And so Maisie in the wet, is she okay?
She's miserable when it rains.
Is she? And how does she let you know? Does she kind of stop the day? Because everyone who's taken a dog, has spoken to me in the past, has said they realise it's the dog's hike, not my hike, which is interesting to me. So are you taking your cues from the dog in many ways?
I was, and it's part of the reason that I went solo as well, is because I didn't want to subject anyone to making concessions based on the fact that I'm bringing a dog with me. So I'm actually
You mean like when the dog jumped down right by me when I was on the table here?
Yes.
Yeah, that time. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, if I need to take a day off because of my dog, I can do that. I don't have to talk to another person about that and be like, hey, I think we need to take a day because of the dog. I can just do what I need to do.
Sure.
So yes, in part it is her hike, but she's also really hardy, and I haven't needed to change my plans.
And also, I'm wondering, because I've noticed this year more than any other time I've been on this trip, that there have been some of the hotels and some of the hostels have been less accommodating to dogs. Have you found any problems with that yet?
I haven't had many issues. I mean, I check on Far Out and I see, are dogs allowed, yes or no? And obviously, if they don't want my dog there, that's their own reasons. I'm not calling and trying to get her in for any reason.
Right.
But the hostels that I've been to have been very accommodating.
Cool.
Usually you just need to get a private room and
she's a lovely dog.
Go.
She's very calm, isn't she? Or as
well, it helps that we hike a lot.
as the young man I'm about to speak to says, she's perfect.
Yeah, according to him, she's perfect. I don't think she's perfect. But
well, thanks for talking to us. I hope it goes well for both of you and that you really enjoy Maisie's hike. Is it Maisie? Yeah, Maisie's hike.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
Day 114, Tuesday. Congdon Shelter, mile 1614.2 to Goddard Shelter, mile 1628.6, a 14.4 mile uphill day. I stayed dry all night and was pretty comfortable in my tent. I found a spot which wasn't perfect. There were plenty of rocks on the floor of my tent, but there was sufficient space for me to fit my Nemo AirPad on it. But even when it goes over quite big rocks, it just seems to redistribute the air all around it and gives me a nice comfortable rest. I'm very impressed with the Nemo, I'll tell you. I won't be impressed if it bursts, obviously, but so far it's worked out really well for me. In the morning, I went back to the shelter and hung out, having breakfast with the SOBOs. I refilled my water from the creek and headed north once more. I'd miss those guys. They were such great fun. I heard them laughing soon after they left camp. And after this, you're going to hear from the last of them, Flossy. The hike was fairly gentle to begin with. The rain had turned the path into a stream once more, and in some place it was really, really muddy. And on occasion I would mistake what I thought was solid earth and trust it, only to find out that I would sink 3 or 4 inches into the mud. It was a bit of a potluck, really. Eventually I found my way up to the top of a Harmon Hill, which was a beautiful view across to wherever. I don't even know where it was, but it was a lovely view. And after which I knew there was going to be a very sharp downhill. But first of all, coming slightly down from Harmon Hill, there was a lovely walk through a lightly wooded area with tons of ferns all around. I love ferns, I really do. They look beautiful. This idyllic walk came to an abrupt end as I faced an extremely steep descent into Route 9 before the slog of a climb up to Goddard Shelter at the top of Glastonbury Mountain. The climb down in front of me was pretty terrifying, actually, as it was largely over slick rocks with the occasional necessity of trusting a rock to your fate. As luck would have it, the extremely stressful descent came to an end without a fall, and I was very grateful for that, as you would imagine. In fact, I was still stressed about it as I stepped on the last rock before the road. It was tense all the way down, but I made it, and happy days. But now the climb began. We had to go up nearly 2,500 feet, over about 10 miles though, with 3 separate climbs that gave us some relief partway through. And while it was tough, I eventually made it around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I felt pretty accomplished. Once again, I think if you take your time, especially if you've got this opportunity to almost rest in the middle as the path flattens out a bit or even goes slightly down, you've got to appreciate that when it happens and don't rush through it. Don't quicken your pace just because you can go faster. Give yourself that time to recover while you're going up these, because 2,500 feet is quite a way to go. Even though it's over 10 miles, I know it is, you're pretty much constantly going up. But every now and then you get that little relief. Don't rush through that relief area. It's worth taking advantage of it. And I know we're now hitting mountains, real mountains, and they're going to be coming up more and more. I don't think I'm particularly nervous about them. I'm excited about New Hampshire and Maine, and I've still got Killing to go over, and Stratton Mountain I'm going to go over tomorrow, actually. But this is what I signed up for, and we know there are mountains up here, and we're back in the mountains. There were plenty of people in and around the shelter and plenty of places to camp. I bumped into 2 young brothers out on the long trail, and I immediately warmed to them. They were so innocent, full of fun, and just darn funny to listen to. They're sniping at each other. They were great kids. We seem to have been caught by another bubble with plenty of new faces, along with quite a few people starting the long trail. It's fun to be around people once more. I've spent a lot of time by myself recently, and on the trail, obviously. Don't even pass anybody. But now, if I come to somebody, if they're sitting down, I sometimes sit down with them and chat with them. Everybody's friendly, as they always are on trail, and I'm enjoying being back among people once more. And I set up my tent just a little way back from the shelter in what was becoming a mini village, and I really like that.
So our last SOBO, for right now anyway, introduce yourself, please.
My name is Flossy.
Why are you Flossy?
I had a different trail name for a while. It was Ozark.
Yeah.
And people kept asking me if I was from Arkansas, and I'm not.
Right.
And I got kind of sick of it. And one of my friends called me Flossy as a joke, and I took that. And
Right.
I thought it was funnier.
You were trying to hand out dental floss,
I was, yeah.
There you go.
I have a lot.
So, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 22.
Right. So you had fresh out of college or something?
Yep, just graduated.
You guys, young guys, to do it. In my generation, we used to have to get married. In my case, divorce, married, divorce, and get a job, career, work 50 years. You guys don't want any of that, do you?
Well, I'm okay with it, but I'd rather do something that I can look back on and like have good memories of before I get stuck doing a job for 50 years.
And by the way, I can tell from the amount of laughter that comes from you on this trip, you're definitely having a good time.
Oh yeah,
and memories to look back on. So how did you get to here in the first place?
I don't even really know about the trail until like last year, and I have a map of national parks and stuff, and I was looking at it and I saw this long yellow line.
Wow.
And it was the CDT. And I thought, wow, that'd be really cool to do. And then I started doing some research, and I realized that the CDT is not the one you start with.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so I learned, I did a little bit of research, and I figured out that the Appalachian Trail is definitely better for like going into town more frequently.
Definitely.
Like it's safer, I guess, is the way to look at it.
Yeah, it's definitely safer. Yeah. I think there's a lot of logistical challenges on the CDT which there aren't on here. You can get into town virtually any time, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you enjoying it so far?
Oh my God, I don't want to quit. This is the best thing I've ever done.
Is it really?
Yeah. In
what way? In what way?
I don't know. Fruitbag says that I was made to be hiking all the time because I just do. Like I'm happy to hike every day. Even today in the rain, I was like, this is the best thing ever. I love it. And I don't wear a rain jacket. I was soaked to the bone, and I loved it. It's the best thing ever. I don't know. I'm just happy in the woods.
So, what do your folks think about this?
My mom is scared, but my dad told me that it's okay to do things that don't make sense every once in a while.
Of course.
It's like not getting a job.
Yeah.
So he told me to do it, and they're pretty supportive of it.
So how are you keeping in touch with your mum? Have you got carrying one of those
Nope.
beacons?
No inReach.
Really?
Yeah, I should have one, but it's too expensive.
Well, you know, if you've got Apple phone or not,
Yeah.
They could find my friends.
Oh yeah, no, my mom can see where I'm at.
Right.
But I call them whenever, no less than once a week.
So, what's been the most challenging bit for you so far? Sounds like nothing. By the way.
Well, it's interesting. I love being out here, but I can't do it alone. And I started alone. And that first night, it rained all day, and I got to a camp, and there was nobody around, literally nobody to talk to, and I was just sitting there thinking, and I was like, if I don't see people tomorrow, I'm quitting.
Oh, really?
That on day one.
Oh my gosh.
And then the next morning, I ran into a bunch of guys my age, and I was like, okay, I'm good. And that's all it is. I just need to be around people every day, and that's it.
But you must have sometimes been hiking by yourself, or have you now attached yourself to other people?
Well, so I hike by myself every day, but I got to end up somewhere with people.
Right.
And I've attached myself to Fruitbag and Slip.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a little treat coming up, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Tomorrow's a month of hiking with them, and it's just been great. They're my best friends on the trail so far.
And you're going into town to a hotel?
Yes, yeah, and I get their trail magic.
There you go. Can't be that. Have you had much trail magic on the way by here? We had loads in the south. I'm not sure what it's like in the north.
We haven't had a whole lot. Maybe 5 times total. And it hasn't been anything crazy. It's just been like snacks and stuff.
And what was your favorite part of the trail so far?
I really liked the whites. I live for the views, and the whites had some pretty spectacular views.
Yeah, something that I know I knew it already, but there are so many places on this trail that you can go to. You climb up a mountain. The only way you can see what you're seeing is by walking there.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
It's something that's really, really reinforced in my mind this year. So now you've got the taste of this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to carry on doing hiking and long distance hiking?
Yeah.
Can you see a Triple Crown?
Oh yeah, I want to really bad, and I hope that I can somehow get
So you're definitely going to defer the job, aren't you?
Yeah.
As long as possible.
Well, I need money to do it, so I got to get a job.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I can, I want to be able to do it again.
And have you found so far that this is more expensive than you imagined it to be? Because it's tough to budget for this anyway, and the north does cost quite a bit more.
Yeah, I spent $1,600 at the first hostel because I had to. All my gear was too heavy.
All right.
And so I was breaking my legs, so I swapped everything out, and yeah, that was a big hit.
So it's expensive.
Yeah, been very expensive.
Yeah,
but it's whatever.
Well, look, I hope it goes well for you. Enjoy the rest of it. You look like you're going to enjoy the rest of your hike, and I appreciate you doing it. I hope you all get there.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers. I have just this minute noticed that I've now done more miles since my return to the trail at Harper's Ferry than I did when I left the trail at Weary Feet. It also means that I've less than 1,000 miles to go. If I can continue to stay safe, I think I've got a pretty good chance of getting this done this year. And given that I've had to leave the trail twice, that realisation has given me a great deal of satisfaction. And I'm nowhere near done yet, and I know that every step could knock me off a trail. But I feel that I'm now capable of doing this, and frankly, that's more than I could have asked for when I left the trail with my shin splints just a couple of months ago. I'll see you next time.